Wrapped up speaking to the media, man. He had a lot to talk about. More importantly, he talked about the process and becoming a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns and sharing all these reps with 4 different quarterbacks. And he's turning some heads actually with some of his comments. I'm not going to waste any time. Let's pull it up right now.
To LaRon McClain, he was supposed to hand it to the receiver. I think LaRon kind of forgot that was happening, and I could have just handed it to the receiver, but I kind of just
are a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, it's actually a great question, Daryl. That's what makes our job fun and hard. I'd say I'd just go back to like the plan that we have in place for these guys when it comes to developing is acquiring as many valuable data points as we can. Now we know these things take time. So what is that going to look like at the end of the year? I don't have a crystal ball to tell you, and I don't do well with hypotheticals, but I will say that every opportunity we will have to evaluate them, we will take. None of them is going to take, a back seat in how we plan and program for them with the reps that we have. And then from there, we'll see what the spring brings and we'll evaluate.
Football family, let's talk about the chaos unfolding in Cleveland. The Browns might be sitting on the most dangerous powder keg in the NFL. A quarterback controversy that could not only decide the season, but decide the jobs of the entire coaching staff, the general manager, and maybe even the direction of this franchise for the next decade. And at the center of it all, none other than Shedeur Sanders, the rookie quarterback who has been outplaying everyone in practice, but somehow keeps finding himself glued to the bench. Now let me ask you this right away. How many times have we seen the Browns ruin a quarterback's career before it even started? From Johnny Manziel to Deshaun Kaiser to Baker Mayfield, this organization has a reputation for dysfunction. And here we are again, the same story, the same mistakes, just with a different name stitched on the back of the jersey. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco, 39 years old, grizzled veteran, talking in press conferences about the process, about patience, about chemistry. Sounds good, right? Wrong. Because while Flacco is up there spinning cliches for the cameras, Jimmy and Haslam, the owners of the Cleveland Browns, are already scouting quarterbacks who won't even be eligible until 2026. Think about that. Your starting quarterback is talking about how comfortable he feels, but your owners are basically admitting they don't believe in him at all. That's not just dysfunction, folks. That's betrayal. That's panic. That's the writing on the wall. And it doesn't stop there. Inside sources are whispering that if this season goes south, if the Browns stumble into mediocrity once again, heads will roll. We're not talking about one coach or one assistant. No, we're talking about a complete house cleaning. Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Barry, everyone in the front office, gone. Torched. Replaced. And the only thing that might save them is unleashing the quarterback they've been hiding all along, Shedeur Sanders. But here's the question, Browns fans. Do you actually trust this staff to do the right thing before it's too late? Now let's paint this picture even clearer. When Joe Flacco stands at that podium, he sounds like a man who knows he's just buying time. He's not talking like a franchise quarterback. He's talking like a guy who knows the end is near. I don't have a crystal ball, he says. I love the guys in the locker room, he says. Those aren't words of confidence. Those are words of survival. And behind him, Gabriel, the rookie drafted in the 3rd round, who has already been exposed in practice. I'm talking about stretches where this guy couldn't complete 10 passes out of 50 attempts. That's not NFL ready. That's not even college ready. Yet somehow, someway, Kevin Stefanski and this coaching staff keep pushing Gabriel up the depth chart while keeping Shedeur in the shadows. Ego. Plain and simple. Stefanski has shown us this before. Remember Baker Mayfield? He doesn't fit my system. Really? Your system doesn't bend for talent? Because when Gabriel steps on the field, the entire offense changes, short, quick passes, formations that protect him, everything tailored to keep him safe. But when Shedeur steps in, suddenly the play calling shifts, the protections vanish, and the rookie is left out there to fend for himself. That's not development. That's sabotage. And let's be honest, Browns players see this. The opponents see this. Everyone in the league knows what's going on. And when your team can't even hide its own dysfunction, That's when the locker room starts losing faith in the man calling the shots. The Browns don't have a quarterback controversy. They have a credibility crisis.
Yeah, I'm sure listen, it's obvious that it's obvious when you've called some plays in the huddle and practiced a bunch for months that you're a little bit more comfortable in the offense than coming in a week later doing it for the first time. To quantify how much, it's hard to say. But, I love the guys that we have in that huddle and the guys that we have in this locker room. And, I think that's an important part of it. So that's where I think it's a little bit nicer to have been around here for the time I have, because you make those relationships stronger, and those are the guys you're going to be on the field with battling on Sunday, so you want to have those relationships.
A lot of times with these coaches and coaches like Kevin Stefanski, it's ego over execution, it's plays over players. At the end of the day, you got to give this kid a shot to redeem himself. That's the beauty of being a rookie. You're going to go out there, you're going to struggle, you're going to have some success, you're going to struggle again, but you want to see them come out on the other side. Now, Shedeur had 5 sacks, 5 drives, just was trying to impress coaches, the fans, trying to live up to what Dillon Gabriel just put out there on the field. And Kevin Stefanski handled that situation and this whole quarterback competition horribly, because you removed an opportunity for him to redeem himself in that situation, to go out as a winner. And again, it's not just we all see it, players on the team sees it. Players on the opposing team see it. They know what's going on. They know what's going down, but it's all about Kevin Stefanski's ego. We saw this with Baker Mayfield. Oh, it doesn't fit my system. Well, your system has to be about the players that are in it.
So ask yourself, football family, why are the Browns protecting Dillon Gabriel and Joe Flacco, but not Shedeur Sanders? Why is the rookie with the best completion percentage, the strongest arm, and the most upside the one sitting third on the depth chart? The answer is politics, draft status, coaching egos, job security. When you draft Gabriel in the 3rd round and Shedeur in the 5th, suddenly the pressure is on to justify your pick. You don't want to admit you made the wrong call. So you prop up Gabriel even when he struggles, and you downplay Shedeur even when he shines. That's not football. That's front office manipulation. But here's the dangerous part. That so-called safe choice isn't safe anymore. Joe Flacco looks every bit his age. Dillon Gabriel looks overwhelmed. And every day that Shedeur continues to outshine both of them in practice, the more obvious it becomes that the Browns are lying to themselves. Now, let me pause and ask you directly. If you were in that front office, would you gamble your entire career on Joe Flacco and Dillon Gabriel? Or would you take the risk on the rookie who might actually save your job? Because I'll tell you what, Jimmy Haslam isn't going to be patient forever. He's been spotted at Ohio State games, already scouting quarterbacks for 2 years from now. That's not confidence in the present. That's preparation for a total reset. And when the Haslams reset, they don't just change one piece. They burn the whole building down. So if Kevin Stefanski wants to keep that headset on his head, if Andrew Berry wants to keep his office keycard active, they better realize that Shedeur Sanders isn't just the future. He might be their last hope for survival. Tell me, football family, are the Browns making the biggest mistake in franchise history by keeping Shedeur Sanders on the bench, or do you think waiting is the smart play? Drop your answer in the comments. Now let's shift gears and talk about Shedeur Sanders himself, because this young man is not just some rookie project. No, this is a quarterback who has been bred for this stage his entire life. He's the son of Deion Primetime Sanders, the same man who reshaped the culture of Colorado football, the same man who lives and breathes pressure. Shedeur didn't stumble into this opportunity. He was built for it, and it shows every single time he steps on the field. Coaches, teammates, even opponents have admitted it. His poise is undeniable. You can't rattle him. He reads defenses better than veterans. His arm strength stretches the field in ways that Flacco and Gabriel can't dream of. And yet, the Browns keep trying to hide him. But here's the thing about talent that's special. You can only hide it for so long. Eventually, the world sees. Eventually, the truth comes out. And when it does, the entire narrative shifts. Let's revisit something Joe Flacco said at that podium. He admitted training camp wasn't the best environment for building chemistry. Translation? This quarterback competition was never real. The coaches had their minds made up from the start. They weren't interested in letting the best man win. They were interested in protecting their own choices. And that's where the Haslam family comes in. Behind closed doors, ownership is furious. They see the lack of progress. They see the wasted talent. And they know, deep down, that the Browns are once again on the verge of throwing away a golden opportunity. Do you think Jimmy Haslam is going to sit quietly while Kevin Stefanski lets another rookie quarterback rot on the bench? Absolutely not. This man has fired coaches mid-season before. He's blown up front offices overnight. He has no problem starting over if he feels betrayed. And right now, every sign points to ownership preparing for exactly that scenario. Let's put this in perspective. The Browns are not a rebuilding team. They're not in a 5-year plan. They are built to win right now. That defense is top 5 in the league. They have skill players who can take over games. They have the pieces. The only missing link is the quarterback. And what's the one thing that can waste an elite defense faster than anything else? Bad quarterback play. That's why this moment is so urgent. That's why it feels like a ticking clock. Because every week that Shedeur Sanders stays on the bench is another week closer to disaster. And this is where the story turns dangerous. If the Browns mishandle Shedeur the same way they mishandled Baker, the same way they mishandled Manziel, then it won't just be about one season. It will be about losing the faith of an entire generation of fans. Because fans aren't stupid. They know when a star is being hidden. They know when the truth is being manipulated. And nothing angers a fan base more than seeing politics come before performance. Now let's talk about those preseason flashes. Remember when Shedeur stepped onto the field late in the second quarter against backups and third stringers? What happened? He marched the team down the field like he owned it. Quick decisions, pinpoint accuracy, commanding presence. The entire energy of the game changed the moment he walked in. Players rallied around him. Fans woke up. The stadium buzzed in a way it hadn't all preseason. That's not an accident. That's not a fluke. That's what real leaders do. They change the atmosphere just by being there. And yet, when the stat sheets came out, the coaching staff downplayed it. It's just preseason, they said. He's still developing. Convenient, isn't it? When Gabriel struggles, it's part of the learning process. When Shedeur shines, it's just preseason. The double standard couldn't be more obvious. Football family, I want you to think about this carefully. What happens when the Browns start the season 1-3? What happens when the boos start raining down in Cleveland? What happens when Flacco can't move the offense, and Gabriel looks lost, and Shedeur is standing on the sideline with his helmet in his hands, ready to save the day, but never given the chance? You know what happens. The locker room divides. The players start whispering. The media starts circling like sharks. And ownership starts dialing phone numbers for replacements. This isn't speculation. This is Cleveland. This is history repeating itself. And here's the kicker. You want to know why ownership is already scouting quarterbacks for 2026? It's not because they've given up on Shedeur. It's because they don't trust the coaching staff to give him a fair shot. They're preparing for the possibility that Stefanski and Barry ruin another quarterback. And when they're both gone, the new regime will want their own guy. That's how broken this system is right now. But here's where I take a stand. I don't believe Shedeur Sanders is going to let them bury him. Not this time. Not this player. He's too good, too polished, too mentally strong. He's not just another quarterback. He's the one guy who can flip this narrative on its head. And if the Browns are smart, if they care about their jobs, their futures, and their fan base, they'll realize it before it's too late. So let me ask you again, football family, do you want to see Shedeur Sanders start this season? Do you want to see him unleashed? Or do you want to watch this organization collapse under its own arrogance once again? Because one way or another, this story is coming to a head. Either Shedeur Sanders becomes the savior of Cleveland, or he becomes the next great tragedy in a long line of wasted talent. And as for Kevin Stefanski? As for Andrew Berry? Let me make this clear. If Shedeur isn't starting by mid-season, they're gone. Fired. Out the door. And don't think for a second Jimmy Haslam won't pull the trigger. He's done it before, and he'll do it again. This is survival mode. This is desperation. This is the Browns' last chance to prove they aren't the laughingstock of the NFL. So buckle up, Cleveland. Because whether you like it or not, Shedeur Sanders is coming. The only question is whether this coaching staff will be smart enough to play him before it costs them everything. And football family, if you believe Shedeur deserves that shot, if you're tired of seeing politics destroy potential, then hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, and join me in holding this organization accountable. Because this isn't just about one rookie. This is about the future of the Cleveland Browns. This is Gridiron Insights. And make no mistake, the clock is ticking. Like and subscribe for more.